Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another production meeting. There's a trend here. It's just Ryan and I yet again. I mean, not just Ryan and I, but
Aw,
much love, Ryan.
just Alex. And no,
It's these two again. We are coming back to talk about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness being our main feature this week. You may have noticed that we took a kind of gap week because the only thing that came out that week, major theatrical release, and I use major very loosely,
ninth place
was
at the box office, Major.
Memory with Liam Neeson, aka Taken number 65.
Alex, did you
Uh,
see Memory?
no, I didn't.
No one else did either.
Yeah, I told somebody from a little over 2 weeks that it has been released. I think we've had maybe 150 people total, maybe, and that's being generous. Nothing against Liam Neeson, decent actor, legend. We just know what we're getting into here. They're all the same. You and I both watched Blacklight at the beginning of this year. That movie, the title doesn't even make sense because it doesn't play in anywhere. So we just decided neither of us is really keen on getting to reviewing this, like when there's so much else to watch or do. So we just decided to skip that. And obviously this week is a big one, probably the biggest this year. Potentially. Oh, scratch that.
Something else has got to break like
What?
$180 million opening domestic, I think.
Uh-huh. I think it opened up 200 something million. This
185 domestic. I saw it earlier. It's like 450 or something worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that too. Um it's
Cannot find it now though.
it's opened up pretty big, pretty hefty weekend, and it has showed because our attendance has been, the highest so far this year. But that is our review coming up. But like always, we can highlight kind of what we've been doing since in the last couple of weeks, and then we can also we will definitely go over some news because there is a good amount of it and some decent stuff to talk about. But first of all, let's see. Ryan, what did you do? What are the highlights from the last couple of weeks?
Well, I've got 4 movies that I caught. One of them is Doctor Strange, so it's down to 3 movies.
Okay.
And I finished Moon Knight. I figured we might do a Moon Knight.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna stop you a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I have not really gotten far into it. We literally last night, we being Ashley and I, just started the first 2 episodes. I can first say that I really like this so far. I I am thoroughly enjoying this. I love the split kind of way that this movie's working and sort of like Deadpool. There's not much that I dislike about this at all. And but I've only gotten 2 episodes in, like I said, and so we can talk about it and you can just give your general opinion if you can without spoiling it.
I'll wait until you finish it.
Okay.
We'll just do because what's next week? Firestarter. We'll just do Moon Knight and Firestarter.
I was literally about to suggest that. I was like, if we want, we can make next week like just a fully like Moon Knight review, or yeah, we can make that Firestarter and Moon Knight. It just there's no set agenda here, so it's loosey goosey. Yes, I will assuredly be done with this by next week, assuming I'm not working 15-hour days. But yeah, so that'll be for next week. What else did you do? You did Moon Knight.
So I watched 3 different films in the last week, all in theaters. One of them kind of in theaters. So 2 movies technically opened the week before Doctor Strange, at least on our theater. Memory with Liam Neeson, which I didn't go see, and then a Finnish movie called Hatching.
Oh yeah.
It's a little indie. I'm assuming it's independent horror movie from Finland. It's about this girl and she has a stressful family relationship, and then she finds this egg, and that's really all I can say about that. I don't know how much the trailer reveals. I wanted to go into this totally blind, so I didn't even see the trailer beforehand. It is Very interesting.
I was gonna say, does that help not knowing anything
It does.
or
I think
okay?
it does help. Yes, because Rachel beside me, she had seen the trailer and she was like, "Oh, I think this is going to be this," and I'm like, "Well, I don't want to know that." Um, it's very interesting. It's pretty good. It's a solid 7 for me for a couple reasons. To watch it or don't watch it. If you don't watch foreign films, this is not the film I'm going to try to convince you to start watching foreign films with. There are so many others, and I mean, it's such a for so many people, it's such a broad. Not that it should be a category of itself, but it's such a broad category, and there's so many great foreign movies to watch. Now, if you want to watch a horror movie from Finland that's foreign, sure, this is a good one to watch. Or if you're just trying to catch up on movies of the year, so it's not a bad suggestion there. On top of that, this film has like a terrifying blend of Jim Henson meets horror class in its practical effects work, which makes it very good, very memorable, and one I would never want to watch again.
Hmm.
So it's a solid recommendation from me. Just know what you're getting into. It's definitely, I want to say body horror in not too gross a way. Um, it's not quite the Fly Cronenberg bad, but it is very creepy, but pretty good. And it definitely gets its themes across, which I think were really interesting. So
That sounds a little not the genre, but like your overall impression sounds similar to mine. And gosh, I mean, it feels like not that long ago that we reviewed this, but it has been quite a bit. Pieces of a Woman. You remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, that's fair.
It's that movie made me like that is so incredibly heavy with very uncomfortable topics that are just people just don't talk about in just open conversation publicly. And this movie is about that. And it's one of the best performances and one of the best movies I would never, ever recommend. So that just kind of made me
Yeah.
think of that.
And on top of that, I'm not sure it's playing anymore. I think it was only playing for the week before Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So, if you're scrolling through something or you see it and you're like, oh, what's hatching? And you're up for it's like not even 90 minutes. It's a brisk watch. It's definitely good. It's just, you know, be discerning. We also saw The Bad Guys 2 weeks in a row, king of the box office, second place this last weekend. This was also pretty good. I don't really have any negative movies that I saw. I'm going to give like 777, probably. Yeah, it's really good. I love the animation style. The story's really interesting. There were some things about it I didn't love. The film's choice of antagonist, which was very predictable from the trailer, I think, also was really weak in the movie. And there's a couple plot points where it's like, it's a kid's movie, but it could be better sometimes, and it often is. It really focuses between like this friendship between the two of the lead group, and I really liked that. It was really interesting. It was a really fun movie. Daniel Pemberton's score, probably one of the best of the year. Something I'm going to say in a couple hours, not a couple hours, maybe like an hour. But yeah, one of the best scores of the year. It's really fun. As long as your kids aren't really, really little, like the ones to our right that couldn't sit still and were just being distracting the whole time. That's fine.
Yeah.
Get control of your kids. But yeah, solid movie. I really enjoyed it. I'd watch this one again. It was probably like 10 minutes too long. It's only an hour 40. It felt like 10 minutes too long.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's pretty good. It's funny. I got some really, really good laughs out of this movie. So I really enjoyed it. And then it's the weird one of the week. I saw Memoria. So for anybody who doesn't know, which I'm assuming is probably everybody, because I didn't know this film existed until
Including myself.
Thursday. Yeah, I was not surprised. I found out this film existed on Thursday. This film premiered in 2021. It is from director, I cannot pronounce his name, and I've never seen anything from this guy. He's done apparently some great artistic nonsense movies, and this is an artistic nonsense movie to the point where its release is artistic nonsense. This is only premiering in one city at a time, so it's been just on a road tour. He said it's never playing in the same place twice, so it's only ever on one screen at a time. So this is like a road show tour of this movie, and then once it's done, it's never getting a DVD release or a digital release or anything like
Oh,
that.
so I know you had to like jump on that.
So I was like, let's go see it. gosh, this movie is. If you thought I was hatching was a hard sell, um, I've if movie going is math, this is calculus. So Memoria, and I have to read the description because I can't really describe the movie based on seeing it. A woman from Scotland, while traveling in Colombia, begins to notice strange sounds. She soon she begins to think about their appearance. I'm not even sure what that second half has to do with the movie. It is 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 16 minutes, and it's just Tilda Swinton talking to people and wandering around and listening to sounds. That said, it's not a bad movie. It's just movie going on. It's what's video game difficulty, survival difficulty, or something like that.
Well, if I'm like Uncharted has crushing.
Yeah, it's on crushing. It's movie going on.
I was gonna just be a little bit of that guy, like, because you know I actually have a degree in math, and calculus was actually like I took that in high school, and that was easier. So I was like, I know what he means, but I was like, yeah.
I don't see. I suck at math. I just know movies, so I'm like calculus, whatever. The point being that if you're going into your movie wanting like a straightforward narrative, this is not that.
Yeah.
If you're going into your movie wanting any sort of narrative, this movie's kind of not that.
So you're like, it's on a roadshow for a reason.
Yes, characters come and go with no rhyme or reason, and things happen and then don't pay off. And the film holds its shots for as long as humanly possible, to the point where some of them are just so fascinating because of the way it's shot, and some of them are just downright boring. It's such a mixed bag for me because I sat there for a lot of this movie and I was like, because the movie is very much an exploration of sound as well and how it affects the audience. And for that was really interesting. But for a lot of the movie, I was like, wow, this is really artistic. And then the second act, I was like, wow, this is really good. And the third act, I was like, wow, this is a movie. I don't know what to give it. First movie that's ever stumped me. And I mean, this is the guy who I have Space Odyssey, which is also nonsense, at a 10 out of 10. So going from that to saying this is just nonsense, I don't know. It's probably like a 6 or 7. If you get a chance to see it and you want to see it because you want to see it because this is the only chance you'll ever get to see it, sure. But if you want to see it because you want to enjoy it and you're not just super artistic as heck,
ooh, then
you might not enjoy this movie at all. I thought it was worth watching because I'm a snob. So there's just take that with however you will. I got a little film strip from it, and I don't know if I'll ever put it up. We'll see.
Sounds like it'd be a hard sell for me, man.
You would not like it. You would hate it. No offense. Just, I mean, I know your taste in movies. There's like a limit to what most people will deal with.
I agree 100% with you. I think you're more artistically connected with films, and I think you see the themes definitely more for what they are or what directors are trying to go for. I mean, 100%. There and yeah.
I will say that the thing that is leading me, I said so many negative things about it, and I think I'm going to give this film a 7 anyway. I'm not sure. Again, I'm still processing this movie like 3 days later. The thing that's still like really growing on me is that we walked out of this movie like we walked out of I don't want to lean myself towards an opinion yet, but some recent movies, except for The Northman, and we talked about them like on the drive back and then a little bit that night, and then we woke up and didn't really think about most of them or talk about them very much. I'm still processing this movie. We went and got cheesecake and we talked about it for like 40 minutes. So there's that. It's an experience.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's like subliminal messaging. It's like maybe we don't expect to be like the greatest movie, nowhere near it, but like we have you talking about it.
Probably. That's very true. And I mean, critics love it. So there's probably something to it in engaging the audience and making them think. I'm going to stop talking about Memoria now. There's such a slim chance that it's going to be playing near whoever's listening to this whenever they're listening to it, and or will hold your interest long enough to remember that it's playing at your nearby film festival.
So if you have a bad case of FOMO and this movie comes near you, go see it.
Yeah. There you go. I think it's worth. I think it's worth. I think it's an interesting experience. But if you're not in for a movie for an interesting experience, then it's not your cup of tea.
Yeah,
Plus, you'll
right.
pay. I think it was like $14 a ticket or something like that. So
But oh, okay. So
yeah. Oh, and I played Nintendo Switch Sports, but I'm not the target audience for that, so I didn't enjoy it. So I don't feel like talking about it. It's
surprisingly,
not
I
really a
haven't.
video game review. You don't need to. You can just play Wii Sports. They're the same.
I know, right? But then I have to dig out the Wii and I'm just like,
Well, dig out a Wii or dig out $50. I think it's actually 40. I think it's 40.
either
Uh,
way, I don't need to crawl
yeah.
into that. But sounds like
I
it.
thought about doing a game review for this because I was like, oh, I don't do that many game reviews. I mean, still playing Forbidden West. I take forever to get through games. We played every game on this in Nintendo Switch Sports, and then we played it with some friends. So we played them all in 2 player and then 4 player. And I'm like, oh, I finished this game. I guess it's not very good, but it's fine. I'm not the
Yeah,
top. Take my word with a grain of salt because
Nintendo's thing is they're all about like family oriented and trying to get everybody to play everything. So it's like and then obviously they have their IPs of like Mario, Metroid, Zelda, Star Fox, so on. Uh, so that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's just a game to sit down and just like, hey, let's bowl. Hey, let's tennis. Hey, let's cross country ski. I don't know what they have in there. But yeah, okay. So let's see. I didn't do that because I don't own that. I have played. I finished playing MLB The Show. That's a game that you don't ever really finish. You just keep playing until you're done with it. And I'm not done with it. I accomplished what I wanted to, and by platinuming it, put it aside. I have so many other games to get to. One of which is the Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga, um, which includes all 9 major movies. I think there's going to be Mandalorian expansions or maybe just character packs. I can't remember. I just got the base version. And so far I've beaten I've gotten through the original trilogy plus Phantom Menace. And the movies, the movie. The game is really cute. It is very different than a Lego game. So all Lego games are pretty much like 80% the same at their core. And they all just like are dressed differently. So like the original Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, the Lego movie that was then made into a Lego game, they all kind of have a similar feel, and they're just dressed a little differently. This one is more like a very miniature third person shooter that happens to be Legos, and it's good, and it's not. I don't know how to describe it. It's fun, and they're really short bursts. And I was telling you before we recorded that it takes about the length of a movie to get through a movie's part of the game. So like A New Hope took me about an hour and so minutes to get through that without like going and collecting everything. So but the game's good so far. Like I would recommend it. I probably would wait until it's around $30. I think it's definitely worth that. You could argue that yeah, it's probably 40 worth, but that's what I've been doing as far as gaming. As far as movies go, I obviously like you said, seen Doctor Strange. Let me look to see if I didn't miss anything, or if I did miss anything. Because our last review, it's the only theatrical movie that I've watched, and I did. Speaking of Star Wars, I did finally, let the cat out of the bag. I haven't watched Return of the Jedi all the way through. Like I've seen pieces of it, but I actually sat down in celebration of Star Wars Day, watched it, thought it was good. A decent way to end that original trilogy. Not the best. I don't think it's going to be really, really hard to ever top Empire Strikes Back, one of the best movies of all time. But I did that, and then I did another classic. I watched The Godfather. So yay me! I know I'm getting classically you know groomed here.
We'll get you all the way up to Memoria.
All the way up to yeah, right. So first time ever really watching that. I knew the references from pop culture and everything. I like that movie. I it's a good film, and I can see why it's. Had I seen it around the time that it actually came out, I'd have been like, "Oh yeah, this is a masterpiece." Um, it's kind of hard to say that now. But so 7 out of 10. I haven't watched the second one or the third one yet, so I will eventually get to that. Hopefully soon. So what else did I do? I also started watching. I started watching Moon Knight. Watched the first 2 episodes. Really like that so far. I like the darker tone of it. I like the schizophrenic kind of multiple personalities take, similar to Split. Uh, yeah, we definitely will try and make that our next video next week. Other than those, oh, and I did start. I know it's been out for a while. I did finally start Peacemaker on HBO Max. Solid first episode. That's all I'm into so far. I like I like John Cena. I think what people see in like The Rock, and I'm fine with The Rock. I know you don't really care about Dwayne Johnson that much. I think I care a little bit more about John Cena's take on stuff because one, I think he's a decent actor and he's legitimately funny. Like I think he can improv so much better. Whereas like The Rock is like it's kind of like the same guy in everything. Like his ad libbing is gonna probably be the same no matter what. Um, but I like that so far. And I think that's all I've got. I didn't really do much. I've been working other times that I haven't been watching movies and stuff. Um, but if you don't have anything else, we shall get into some news. Are you ready to talk about that, my friend? And you are on mute, my friend.
I am. I was
Okay.
eating crackers and then I
Oh,
forgot to unmute myself.
all right. Well, put those crackers away. No, I'm just kidding. Keep eating those crackers.
There's a time difference, in case anybody's wondering. So it's like I'm getting hungry.
I know. I am a little too.
Oh, you're like at 12:10.
Yeah. I
I
am.
have no excuse then.
But you're good. Truth be told, I'm gonna be switching screens so that because I'm gonna filter through our news. But yeah, so eat those crackers, man. Um, so let's start off our news a little bit. This one's kind of a weird way to start, but it was. I go back to our last video, and I've just everything that we've shared on the page. That's kind of how I do these news things. Um, but anyway, so the first bit of news is that Andrew Garfield is going to be taking a break from acting for a while, and I think that's it's legitimate for him to do that because man has worked really hard on a lot of his stuff. Not take away Spider-Man because he had to low key not talk about that stuff, but he had Tick Tick Boom, which I think was an Oscar snub, and it was so I'm like there was another film that he did this year
It's a
too.
Tammy Faye.
Yes. Actually, even I think there's even another one that he did.
He's got a show out right now too.
So he's been doing a lot of work and has not been getting fully recognized for it. So you well earned. I think he's been getting snubbed. So but yeah, so he's gonna take a break for a while, and that seems to be the trend a little bit right now. Actors must have been doing a lot more work in 2020 and early on in 2021 than we realized because like Tom Holland's taking a break, but Tom Holland had like Spider-Man and Uncharted like boom back to back kind of like big hits, so like he can afford some time off. And then
If
Benedict,
we find out,
go ahead, Ryan.
if we find out that Tobey Maguire's taking a break, it's because they're doing a Secret Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Hey, I'm taking a break, guys. I really am. But yeah, so yeah, all three of them. Hey, where are you going? I'm going to Fort Lauderdale. Where are you going? Hey, me too. But anyway, So, okay, the next bit of news. This is the one I was like, this is the big one for me, probably for you too. We have a name, and we have, as of this last weekend, have a trailer for the second Avatar movie. It is called The Way of Water, being the subtitle, and we got a teaser trailer at the end of the trailers for Doctor Strange. Ryan, thoughts?
Fantastic.
I know
Can't
without
wait. That sounds sarcastic. It's not. Just great. Just amazing.
I
I'm ready.
think I'm, what is it? Encapsulated in, so I, being part of the film, the theater. I saw this trailer. I'm gonna openly admit it. I saw this trailer like a week before it actually premiered because it was in our system, and I was like, "This is an Avatar trailer." Wait, no, this is an Avatar trailer. So I threw it on all of our houses, and I threw it on the big one, and I was just like, I felt, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a real thing. This isn't just like a hoax. This isn't just people getting our hopes up. This is for real.
And I had to let that temptation sit on my phone for a week.
I know, and I'll be like, I gave you that choice, and but you, I think, I think if I was in your position, I very much would have been tempted, but I would have been glad as well that I waited, because it's just a wonderful. I've seen that trailer probably 12 times now. So I don't think I'm getting desensitized by it, but I probably should stop.
Because you're
eh,
going to see it every movie you go to, in every movie you go to for the next like 8 months.
yeah, at least every Disney flick.
Yeah.
It'll be on Lightyear. It'll be on
Thor.
Thor. Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, so I thought that was big enough news on its own. One, that we got a title for it, and then two, we actually have a trailer. So this is a for real thing. And I cannot wait. Um, Speaking of movies getting titles, the next Mission Impossible, technically both next Mission Impossibles, or final Mission Impossibles, I guess, however you see it, have their titles. They are called Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Parts 1 and 2. I have only seen really two Mission Impossible movies. I don't know how, you probably have seen them all. I don't know how you feel about this. Is it like kind of Is it good? Is it bad?
I don't like parts 1 and 2. So that's
Yeah.
one thing. Spider-Verse just shed its part 1 and 2. And I'm like, yeah, all movies should do this just to find out Mission Impossible got its part 1 and 2. Um, we went into Infinity War and it was like a Marvel movie. We knew there was going to be more. And for a split second, we were like, oh, there's not going to be a sequel. And then for the next 2 minutes, we were like crying because we found out there was going to be a sequel. And so I'm like always fine for going into this movie not really expecting more.
Mhm.
So that's fine. Other than that, I mean, I'm on board though. The current run for Mission Impossibles, they go kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm all for the direction they're going with it. I trust them after the promo reel that came out for Top Gun's release, where we found out that Tom Cruise did all his own flying, because of course he did. I can't wait to see him in space. For real.
I'm actually a little surprised on your take for Mission Impossible. I don't know. I feel like I thought you'd have been like, man, this is oversaturated. Like, when will this be done? It's almost
It's
not.
what I
Go ahead.
You're not wrong, but it's what I thought before 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. And I liked 4 better than 3, and I like 5 better than 4, and I like 6 better than 5, and I like 7 the best of them all. So somehow there's no way to go but up for this series. It's got to come down at one point.
And you're like,
But
maybe the reckoning will
yeah,
be it.
7 just blew me away. I could not believe how good it was. So I'm all on board for more until they start going downhill. Then I'm like, oh, pump the brakes.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, it'll continue that trend. It's the law of averages may say otherwise, but man, we've got a number of movies that have been given their official title. The prequel, Quiet Place movie has been officially titled A Quiet Place Day One. I'm assuming literally just kind of when that happens, when everything kind of initially takes place, especially what's been seen in the second movie. Probably go more into depth on that. Cool. I'm looking forward to this. I have enjoyed both Quiet Places. The first one just a tad bit more than the second one. I will be watching this regardless. So yeah, day one. Yay. Let's see, what else do we have? Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has finished shooting. Yay. So I mean, good, because that's supposed to premiere, I believe, next summer. So cool. Let's see what else we got here. This is kind of just like bleh news. Tobey Maguire is said to be playing Charlie Chaplin in a film
And
called
Damien Chazelle's movie. What do you mean it's
Correct.
blah news? Get out of here. This is great. I cannot wait for this movie.
Are
What
you
is it,
for real?
Babylon? Is it Babylon? That's what
Yes,
it's called?
Babylon. Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
of course I am. I love Damien Chazelle. He is 2 for 2 on great movies. And now we're doing one set in classic Hollywood. Great. Bring it
I'm gonna
on.
plead ignorance here. What else has he done?
La La Land, First Man.
Oh, wait.
Whiplash. He's 3 for 3 on great movies.
Oh yeah, I do like Whiplash. I totally wasn't familiar with him, so that's why I was like, I thought this was more or less just kind of throwaway news.
You opened a can of worms. You weren't ready for it. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah. Okay, so maybe I'll be a little bit more excited. Tobey Maguire, what have you been doing other than Spider-Man the last, however many years? There you go. Get yourself a role. So we got a little bit of a shift in Marvel. I mean, not Marvel. DC movies. Shazam: Fury of the Gods got shifted back to December 21st of this year. I'm not exactly sure why that happened, but that is the case. And then something else got oh no, wait. Marvel got shifted around. That's the one I'll be thinking of in a little bit. We'll talk maybe more on that later. Next up, Space Force, the comedy space themed thing from Netflix. Had apparently 2 seasons. Only saw the first. Could not care any less about the second one. Is totally getting canceled by Netflix. I think it was just I don't know. I was never really into that. So all right. So Space Force. Yep. Not getting a 3rd season. I don't think anybody cares. So let's see. I'm gonna kind of skip that. We got the Avatar news. Scroll through. Okay, so this is the thing I was kind of mentioning before, where 2 things kind of swapped release dates. They didn't both get pushed back. The Marvels and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania switched release dates. Quantumania is now set for February 17th of next year, and the Marvels is set for July 28th of next year. This is purely got to be like matching up with whatever else they got coming out. I don't really see a reason for this, but cool.
Yeah.
I know it's like both big news and like, okay, great.
Yeah, like we're getting a Marvel movie the same date each one, so yeah.
So, let's see what else. This was kind of big news. So Square Enix sells the Marvel's Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy developers. Let's see, what was the name of that? I think it was Montreal something. Basically, yeah, the developers for those games. I'll have to go back later. Yeah, Square Enix basically just sold those for not that much. I would think it was like $300 million, which I mean sounds like big, but like it comes with like big name games. So I'm like, all right. So I wonder why that happened. I mean, Square Enix is not like on the verge of being like bankrupt or anything. Let me switch this. I had this switch the whole time. I just I didn't really totally understand this transaction, but so but kind of just glossing over that. We did. I don't know if you saw the little promo for the Netflix. It's funny that we were talking about Netflix and they're canceling all their animated stuff and
Mhm.
kid stuff. Well, now they have a bunch of different stuff slated. One of which we knew about for sure was the Kung Fu Panda thing, and we got a little glimpse, like a little 10-second thing on the new Sonic Prime thing. I don't know. I was like, there's a lot of good stuff here. Hopefully Netflix is trying to make good with what's been happening recently. I don't know. Maybe they've just sunk their knife a little too far um to get on people's good side. So but I'm looking forward to that Sonic show. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Next up we've got hey, here's the why do we need this? Dirty Dancing is getting a sequel.
Where's Clint when you need him?
I know. Every time I see Dirty Dancing, I know he despises that film, and he comes to mind. This is easy. Like not
Yeah.
even forget about if you love this movie, if you hate this movie, if you're in between this movie. Why? Who cares?
Yeah, nobody. Well, I think we're gonna find out that it's not. It's gonna underperform. Nobody cares. I mean, I like this movie, and I don't really want a sequel.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, we got this with like these long-awaited rom-com sequels. Like I think My Big Fat Greek Wedding had a sequel a couple years
yeah,
ago, and
and
nobody
nobody.
saw it.
Yeah, nobody cared about it. I just I get a little dumbfounded by this. Like, when did the first one come out? Like 1987, something like that. It was
Something like
it.
that.
I'm like, who is?
Yeah, you got that right.
Oh man,
We're
right
two for
on.
two on these dates.
That's right. Um, I that long after. I mean, I get that they're doing Top Gun, but like, I mean, I don't know. There's just a different mentality of doing a Top Gun sequel to doing this, where it's like it's a clear cut. Don't need to do anything afterward.
Yeah.
I just okay. Yeah, it's just the weirdest, dumbest thing. Um, there's gonna be a Peacemaker spinoff with Viola Davis in
We're
it.
still in the why do we need this segment, right?
Yeah, yeah, right. I thought
What is this like House of Cards but DC? I don't know
I
how else the show could be presented.
I thought the exact same thing. I was like I kind of think this is good, but I'm like, do we need this? Yeah, it's weird. A little bit of a kind of a hilarious bit of news. Daniel Radcliffe, we already knew that he was going to be Weird Al in this like biopic pick, but now we have like an actual trailer, and I didn't even know it was supposed to be for Roku, like the Roku channel. That was a little bit hilarious to me. I was like, that doesn't show confidence at all. You're not even putting it on like a main streaming thing. You're not even putting it on Prime, Netflix, wherever. This is going to Roku. Who watches that?
Maybe Weird Al fans will once it hits Roku. I know I'll be watching this.
I do want to
I
watch
mean,
this
maybe.
at some point. I will want to watch this, but I'm like, that's such it's Weird Al news, and it's weird news to be on Roku. Like, so I saw the little trailer for it. Cool. I kind of it doesn't matter what they put out. I wanted to see this just for the sheer like, are they really doing this mentality? And so yeah, we're gonna be getting that. Obi-Wan, we already know it's coming out. That's not much news. But we did get a new trailer. We did get a new trailer for it on May the 4th. What did you think if you saw it?
The only way this trailer affected me is that my Facebook feed just got a bunch of new Star Wars memes
Yeah.
with Joel Egerton saying like the way you train Anakin and whatever. So I mean, yeah, this is fine. I'm still curbing all my expectations because every time I get excited for this, I'm like, Kathleen Kennedy's in charge. Kathleen Kennedy's in charge. So, but I mean, yeah, this trailer looks good. I don't really. They cut a couple more highlighted shots of the Inquisitors that don't look as so. You know, I don't know if that's course correction.
I have the same reservations. I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to get really hyped for this. I want to.
I'll call that visual reaction the Will Smith Aladdin effect, where it's like maybe this just won't look bad once we're watching it, but it looks bad in the trailer.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of holding off on all expectations. I don't remember if it was this week or not, or if we even talked about it last week. I probably have talked about it already, but they also said that Natalie Holt from Loki was doing the score for the series with John Williams' theme, which I'm hyped for.
Okay, I was gonna
That's
say
a good pairing.
I know. I'm like, I, and I'll be honest. I thought this was. I got caught up on other. Like I finally finished Boba Fett like a week and a half ago. Not that it would have correlated exactly into this. I finished that thinking that it was 2 episodes coming out on the 5th, and I was like, oh wait, it's coming out the end of the month. Whoops. So now I'm just overly prepared.
I actually thought they were going to surprise drop it on the 4th, but that would have been sudden and weird and weirdly conflicting with Doctor Strange and Moon Knight. So glad they didn't do that.
That's exactly why they didn't do it. Yeah, Doctor Strange. Yeah, they don't. Disney is very much they don't overlap themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I like the trailer. I'm excited for it. I certainly like the rest of America and humankind cannot wait to see how the story unfolds. Speaking of teaser trailers, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. I did not watch this trailer. What did you think?
Fantastic.
Okay.
I forgot about this trailer, not because I forgot about it, but because I've watched a weird indie film since then. So this is the only thing on my mind. I think this trailer is exactly what it needs to be to show audiences. Let's face it, the Game of Thrones audience is going into this really skeptically. Not because, there's no reason to be. It's got strong showrunners. Martin's approved on it. It looks incredible. Ramin Djawadi's coming back to the music, but it's just we got burned already. But going into this looks like a season 1. It looks like this nice slow burn, conspiracy, character-driven, political thriller part of this fantasy world with an insane budget. And between that and seeing more of the characters, and Matt Smith looks great in that white wig, and the music and
You're just like, I'm beside myself.
I just can't wait. Like we've already had like some great fantasy this year in shows. We're getting some more, and then at least one point, probably more than once because of the release schedules, but assuming Amazon does at least 3 a week, there will be at least 1 week in September where we will have new episodes of Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones.
And you were like, I am taking off of work for this.
Absolutely. Just gonna love it. So
he's gonna be, if Ryan's here, he's gonna be in like a stuber. He's gonna be like, it's like gosh, what kind of week? It's like Shark Week for some people.
just fantasy week.
I know, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
I'm excited either way too. I have not watched the trailer, but I guess I like Game of Thrones. I still haven't even finished the series. I probably don't even need to.
Stop at season 6.
Yeah, that's kind of where I did
after season 6.
Okay, so I stopped before.
2 of the best episodes in the show, bookends, cap off season 6. So,
all right. Well, I've had plans in the recesses of my mind to just start that series over. I think Ashley started because I bought all first 7 seasons because they had like a really discounted thing at Walmart one time.
I think that's the one I have. Is 1 through 7, and then I season 8 sitting beside it.
Exactly. I think yeah. I think we got the exact same thing, and I was like, it was like either $75 or somewhere between $70 and $80, and I was like, I can't pass this up.
Yeah,
that's only like $11 a season, so that's pretty good, and it's on Blu-ray and it's digital. But so I've Ashley started going back and watching them, and I don't know how engaged she was. I don't think she was, which is surprising. Like it just seems like right up her alley, like fantasy wise, just like drama wise, and it just seems anyway. So I eventually will go back to that. But yeah, so new trailer, it's awesome. So going back to why do we need this? There is a little bit of a rumor that Mike Myers was hinting at a possible Austin Powers 4. I don't know if there's a bigger why do we need this than this. And I reference Austin Powers to this day, almost constantly. Like I will do a fat bastard impression every once in a while. And I'm like, what? Nobody wants this. This is I'm beside myself. I those are not great movies, but they have like they are engraved in my brain from my childhood. This doesn't need to happen. I don't know. I'm just like, not to give it more attention than it deserves. But yeah. So let's see what else is I can't remember if we talked about this in our last video, but the Fast X director Justin Lin, he reportedly quit. I mean, well, he quit the like just days after starting shooting for that. I think there was a major blow up between him and Universal, and then so Universal and Vin Diesel, they're on basically like one side, and then Justin Lin's on the other. Basically, I guess on creative differences, or I guess he felt like the story was done like the way they said it, and then they were like, no, we need to keep adding probably more family, probably more space. Who knows? Stupid. So who knows? But I don't even know if this they've even picked up another director yet.
I don't know if they need one at this point. No offense to Mr. Lin, his direction is probably one of the only good things remaining about the series.
Yeah,
this is such an ill omen for the way these movies are going.
Yeah,
as if they couldn't get worse. But I did take probably some of the blame away from Dwayne Johnson for their feud, because I think we clearly know who maybe the inciting incident between that feud is now.
Yeah, right. So, but with that, I believe that's the real main end of our news. Unless Ryan, you have anything else?
Well, I do and I don't.
Okay.
We gotta pull up his name again because I could not remember it. We have a new doctor for Doctor Who announced.
Yeah, we do. I saw that too.
I don't know him from anything. I don't even remember his name. It's Nakuti Gatwa. He's Scottish raised. I don't remember where he was born. He's from the show Sex Education. He's like fourth build on that show.
Oh yeah, I know.
I have never seen this guy in anything. So I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. As someone who's almost caught up, I've got one special away. The special that premiered a couple weeks ago, we haven't caught yet. And then I'll be all caught up with Doctor Who for this whole second run. I haven't watched the classic stuff.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's quite a feat.
But like since what is happening with my mind today? Christopher Eccleston, since Eccleston's reboot started.
Okay.
This is a very interesting choice. On the one hand, I'm all for an unknown, relatively unknown, and not a huge actor. I'm all for it. They seem to do really well with it, and it is absolutely time to replace Doctor Who. And on top of that, they're cycling out their showrunner because that needs to happen. And I won't say anything else overly negative about a particular writer director who is just driving the show into the ground as much as possible before he's kicked out. And when I say they're bringing in a new showrunner, they're actually bringing in the original showrunner from the reboot. And I wish I had Rachel here to just spout off all these names, because Doctor Who's got me into such a state of not caring about it that I just cannot pull these names to the front of my head. My only weird thing is that is such a weird thing to be casting an unknown at this point in time when your show's reputation is being dragged through the mud, is to leaving audiences going, oh, okay, instead of somebody that, I mean, not that there was a rumor for a while that Tennant was going to come back. I think that would have been a step in the wrong direction. I love Tennant, but going back to something that worked doesn't really feel like what the show is really about.
Mm-hmm.
But it also feels like a really bold choice to just kind of leave audiences saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I guess we'll try it out," and that kind of leaves me wondering how the viewership's going to do for the beginning of this next season, because I know the viewership for the first part of Whitaker's run was great, and it's just completely dropped off the map. So
I can
we'll see.
understand those
Yeah,
or those hesitations to
yeah.
like fully be immersed. But all I remembered was that Hugh Grant was like attached to it for a second. Like they were
I
like,
was so hoping that would happen.
yeah, I kind of do too, and I have no attachment to Doctor
Yeah,
Who, but it just kind of felt natural, like that would have
yeah.
happened.
That felt like such a step in the right direction for getting audiences excited about it again. And I mean, not saying nothing against this gentleman.
Yeah,
All the performances, even Jodie Whittaker's done a really great job. We were watching her Dalek special last night, and I was like smiling and enjoying her performance, even though the episode wasn't good. So he'll probably do a fine job, and the showrunner being replaced is great. It's just such a weird move to not have a foundation of a solid foundation for audiences to go from this run to the next run with. So
yeah, and I get that. That's yeah. So Doctor Who, we got a new one. Cool. With that, any other bit of news? I think I covered.
I can't think of anything. The only other thing I thought was Fast and Furious, and you got that. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and don't let that live in your brain too long.
Nope.
Yeah.
They never do. They're just movies are made of air anyway. So
all right, but with that, so now we are on to our main attraction for today, our Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness review. Basically, the synopsis is that there is a girl with interdimensional or inter-universe, I don't know how you pronounce it or how you would describe it, powers where she can travel from universe to universe, America Chavez, and she travels into this Doctor Strange's universe, and things ensue. Craziness happens. That's pretty much all you need. So Ryan, would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
yeah, I can go first if you like.
Because I actually have you've hidden your thoughts about this pretty well, and I have no idea where you're leaning. I do in one way know exactly where you're leaning, but overall, I have no idea. So I'd like to hear it. Go
I
ahead.
didn't write a review specifically to hold. Actually, I just didn't feel like it. Just didn't feel like it. So yeah, this movie. First off, I'll say I can see why there was only one trailer. Because if you give any more information, you're just you're in the deep end. So I'm tempted to just leave this entire thing spoiler free for the sake of everyone going to see it. That said, $185 million, everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
So I'll be vague for a while, is what I mean. This film has solid critic reviews and pretty solid audience reviews. It's gotten a kind of a so-so reception, and I totally understand the thoughts behind it. I loved it, though. I really loved this movie. It's got some big problems, and I don't even care. Bet you didn't see that coming, did you?
I did not. I really didn't actually. Okay.
I really like this movie for a lot of reasons. I'll go back to ranking because I already ranked it, I think, in my MCU list, and it'll probably change when I let this settle in. The story setup is a little rushed, and I wish this movie were probably 5-10 minutes longer, probably in the setup. I feel like there was a disconnect. America Chavez was not necessarily a character I didn't dislike her. I had trouble connecting with her as a character because of the way she was introduced. It felt like we didn't really get to know her enough, especially because there's more interesting things going on at all times. Yeah. So that was one complaint I had for sure. Might be the only one. I know I've got more complaints. For me, okay, there's these rose-colored glasses called Sam Raimi and his direction. And the fact that this movie exists. So I'm just going to jump straight into what I love about it, because I don't really have much to say other than once I get past what I love about it, because it's all kind of one big bottle thing. The MCU has taken some chances for sure. And we've gotten a lot of genre pieces. We have Captain America, the Winter Soldier is your spy thriller. We have Shang-Chi now as like a martial arts epic. some more. But anyway, trying to think of the other genre ones. But you get it. So
Yeah.
we've had some experimental movies, and like it or not, Eternals was a big risk. I don't think it paid off. I don't think it works. Um, but I'm glad they took that risk with doing something very different with it. For me, this is that risk paying off. This is very much the MCU's foray into a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I jumped. It's creepy. It's weirdly edited. It's trippy storytelling. It's got elements of. It's almost disturbing elements sometimes. It's visually stark. It's so, no pun intended. It's so sharp and colorful for a Marvel movie, and so freaking creepy and bloody. It's really violent.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that happened in a Marvel movie. This is all in a movie from a studio that I don't trust at any time to make the right decisions. And here they bring in a director who has experience with horror films and superhero films and a couple others, but we'll specifically say Sam Raimi's probably best known for his Evil Dead trilogy and the Spider-Man trilogy.
Correct.
And I didn't think those would be such a great thing together. But gosh darn it, I loved it.
Like peanut butter and sriracha.
Very much. You know what? I had honey sriracha chicken last night. I didn't think that would go together. Spicy and sweet. I know spicy and sweet can go together, but like honey's really sweet. Sriracha's not sweet at all. Two of them, chicken, fantastic. That's what this movie is. Now, if you go into this movie and you don't care about things like the visual style, the editing, the score, the horror, the color, that's fine. You'll probably think it's okay. And there were other decisions, really bold decisions. They just went for it. Some of the times it worked. Some of the times it didn't work. I love that they went for it every time. And the overall way this film goes with its story is really bold, and I thought really great. I thought it almost completely worked. You're very much rewarded for keeping up with the MCU, but you're not punished for not. You just have a little bit of a disconnect, I think, here and there, which I think they did a really good job kind of filling in for it. And it's like, at this point, I don't even want to say what the homework was, but before you went into this movie, if you heard the AMC pre-show or whatever, it's like, hey, make sure you catch up on this, and this before your hand. You're right. You should catch up on those things. Mm-hmm. Not because it's required viewing, but because it will significantly enhance your emotional attachment. And it was like 10 minutes into this movie, I was like, okay. And I didn't expect that from something that I only gave, I think, a 6 out of 10 to as my final rating in an earlier entry into this MCU series. And so watching the weird ways of conflict resolution present itself in this atmosphere was really unique. I wore a shirt from H.P. Lovecraft for this movie, and I'm so glad I did. It was just everything I didn't expect this movie to actually be. And for a Doctor Strange movie to be dark and creepy, it's what I wanted from the first movie. And even the things that weren't necessarily dark and creepy, elements, additions to the movie that I liked. You've got his buddy from the first movie. Goodness gracious. I'm only thinking about frenemy from the first movie.
I'm drawing a blank there.
Yeah, but anyway, like he returns in an alternate universe version of himself. Mordo.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still thinking about Tilda Swinton and the weird popping sound in her head. Like, honestly, and I've got the Moon Knight score in the background. Those two things don't go well together. But yeah, like really interesting. I loved the many brief performances, as well as the many strong, lasting performances. Benedict Cumberbatch is always reliable, of course. It's great. Mm-hmm. There's not much to add to him at this point. He's really solidified the performance, so it's not like it was an outstanding performance that we didn't expect. It wasn't quite Robert Downey Jr. going from great in Iron Man to, his run as Iron Man to really great again in Endgame. We're not quite there, I don't think. I don't think it's a problem. You don't need to step up your game every single time. You're a character, you're consistent. And in this case, some of the other performances in the film, and if you saw the trailer, you know who some of the minor characters that are going to be in this. Benedict Wong is his name, and he's playing Wong.
Yes.
He had a lot of screen time. Great. I'm really glad. He did not feel like quite as much of a minor character in this film, even though he was in like a lot of the first Doctor Strange. I felt like I cared about him more in this. Elizabeth Olsen's back. She's fantastic. That's not a surprise. Her character arc across all these movies is just a great performance. And it's not her fault. Her heavy accent in Age of Ultron, it's not a bad accent, but the fact that it just kind of came and was gone, that's very much forgiven at this point. Speaking of Age of Ultron, another returning person from Age of Ultron, Danny Elfman's music is probably one of the best scores in the MCU. It very much feels like a superhero film and very much feels like a horror film. It pulls those elements together. Anyway, solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I don't think everyone will think the same thing. And if you're going to go into it and you don't, if those things don't jump out to you, if you're not sitting there and being like, whoa, that's some great fade editing, that's fine. You don't need to enjoy those things from that movie. That's really my takeaway from this movie is just as a Marvel film, it shouldn't even be this good.
Yeah, you definitely surprised me there. That really surprises me that you think that highly of that movie. I was not expecting that. I knew, like I said before, I knew you were gonna love this score because you and Danny Elfman, it's like a match made. Like I don't think I've ever heard you say anything bad about Danny Elfman's.
I will retrospectively say that Age of Ultron is probably my least favorite Elfman score, and it's because he got paired with the slice of white bread that is Brian Tyler.
I see, and I didn't even know he was a part of that one too. That it just goes to show, like, yeah, and I sat, obviously I sat through this movie. We sat through that what the credits to get to the end credit scenes, and they always have directed by, starring and so on, and it said music by. And I just I must have been talking to, everybody else after we watched it. And I was like, I totally didn't realize that. Looking back on it, I can see it. But I knew you were going to like that part. I didn't know you were going to love this. So this is definitely a surprise for me. My review is, I would think this is kind of middle of the, what's the phrasing?
Middle of the road?
Middle of the road. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did not love this or hate this. I loved the fact that it's a horror take, and I thought it did really effectively do that. I was like, this is legitimately scary and creepy. They're doing this pretty good. Sam Raimi is a good person to have this, direction. And it's also kooky and weird. And I'm like, that's exactly his milieu. He is, I'm gonna have a zany fun, like I always think of Army of Darkness whenever I think of like the Evil Dead. Even though I've never actually seen any of them, I've seen a bit of that one, and that's weird and creepy, and I'm like, that's this. It's
that's my favorite of the three.
Exactly. And I'm like, and it sticks out in my brain, and I'm like, okay. And you mentioned having Spider-Man and like Army of Darkness. It's like Sam Raimi's like, hey, ever wondered what Spider-Man and Army of Darkness would be like if you put them together? Wonder no further. Go watch Doctor Strange. And I mean, it's exactly that. I personally think that this movie was just weird and just like I mean, I know of course it's weird, but like for the sake of just being weird, it just was like, I'm gonna be so outrageously odd, and personally to me, it just didn't feel like it advanced the story. Like it was of no consequence. And that's kind of my take on this entire movie. It's both good and bad. I agree with you that like as a standalone movie, it does help to put in the homework of watching WandaVision, watching obviously the first Doctor Strange, watching Spider-Man is actually not that really necessary, to be honest. Yeah. You just need to know that he was involved with Spider-Man. You literally need to know nothing other than that movie exists. And then possibly Endgame. I don't know if you're trying to like go. There's one.
Yeah, there are some interesting. There's like kind of a theme carried over, I think, from it. Right? Would you say?
Yeah, I'd say that. But otherwise, it's like, okay, do those definitely WandaVision easily, because you're not going to understand certain parts. But I just was like, even though I mean, with that in mind, I still think this is a they approach this as a standalone, like you don't really need to know much else movie. And but it also felt like it was of no consequence too. I just kind of like this movie just is just here. It just exists. I don't feel like I'm advancing towards anything. That's just me personally. And I know we're gonna keep from spoilers, at least until the very end. Um, there is one spoiler I would like to talk because I've seen it a number of times. And it just keeps bugging me over and over.
Do you want to give your rating real quick?
Seven
So
out
we
of ten.
can. Okay.
7 out of 10. I was kind of 6 or 7, and that's kind of the general consensus. You nailed it. I mean, it's been so on receptions. Everybody I've talked to that we work with, they're like, it's fine. It's a little disappointing, but it's fine. It's like a 6.5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range. And I said, yeah, that's pretty much how I felt. And my one of my best friends, he loves Marvel. I got him to see it. What's today? Monday. So I got him to see it on Saturday. And he thought the same thing. He was like, it's solid. It's solid, but it's like it's a 7. I was
This
like,
is
yeah.
so weird. What does it feel like to be in the majority or the minority positive opinion about a
I
Marvel movie?
I know it doesn't happen with you too often. Or really ever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I almost like, dang, Ryan's. There is one cool thing. So being in the theater industry, we had to test the 3D content just to make sure it was all good because we haven't had a 3D movie in over 2 years. And everything was fine. And I had, just sat there for the first, I don't know, about 5 minutes just to, with the glasses on and watching it. And I was like, this looks really cool in 3D. I would recommend that, even if I didn't think my opinion wasn't that high. There's some stuff that sticks out, and I'm like, that's cool. And I'm not a 3D person.
Well, you are.
I mean,
Well, not right now. This is.
you're, God, you beat me to it. I am 3-dimensional, but I am not into 3D features. You silly. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Part of me is forgetting a bunch of stuff from this movie. Like if I knee jerk, like what did happen, and I have to think about it for a second. I was like, oh yeah, that happens and that happens and that happens. Um, it's out there. If you're a Marvel fan, obviously see it. If you're into um not expecting to be horror type movies and it ends up being that way, that's one thing I will say about this. I did read that going into this movie that it was like the MCU's first take on like horror. And I'm glad I did that because I think had I gone in there just thinking, hey, I'm gonna see a quirky, funny, movie about, traveling to different universes.
Yeah.
And it's just
Oh,
happy go lucky.
and they check all the boxes too.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, let's do a slasher scene, and it flows naturally. They're like, all right, we're gonna have this creepy chase in the tunnel, flickering lights, check, jump scares, check, and then later on, it's like, all right, time to do the classic Universal monster movie, Frankenstein music, check, creepy 50-50 cinematography, check. Just
How do you feel about getting into spoilers now?
yeah, we can. Yeah, spoilers,
Okay,
spoilers, spoilers.
let's. We are talking about spoilers right now. So
Clint.
Clint, if you are watching / listening to
Yeah.
this, we are about to start spoilers. So you have this time to pause it. Okay.
Because there are some.
There's a lot to spoil.
Yeah. There's definitely some spoilers in here.
So one of the first things.
Just kidding.
Yeah, right. No, that's a fake spoiler. That's a me putting in Kevin Spacey and everything.
That was like Deadpool and that Tom Cruise was going to be Tony Stark. Those were definitely dropped to cover real spoilers.
Oh yeah, those are definitely not in the movie. So I guess that's a unspoiler spoiler. But no. So when you get to the Illuminati, I am. I switched shirts before we recorded because the other one just was like too loose. Yeah, I got this at Five Below.
Nice.
But we get
not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Yeah, right. Star Wars is not a sponsor.
I meant Five Below.
Or Five Below.
Disney's always our sponsor.
Yeah, I know. That's Five Below. The spoiler of the Illuminati is not the spoiler itself. It's who's in it. And I legitimately, when you see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, I literally went, what? Really loud in the movie. I was like, this is cool. I I am excited for this. Now, the spoiler that I was actually, you're gonna think this is weird that I enjoyed this, but the basically the offing of all of those characters
Yeah,
reminded me so much, and correct me if I'm wrong, the first episode of Invincible.
that's exactly what came to mind for me too. Is the
I
finale from the first episode of Invincible?
I thought this is Omni-Man. No, and it's not even that they're just like killing him. Like stuff can happen off screen, and it's like, okay, that's to save on that should be a little bit more humane. It's a save on effects. This like there was I can't remember the character's name, the guy who like can whisper and then it gets
Black
louder.
Bolts
Black
from Inhumans, the worst thing the MCU has ever put out, gets a little cameo. Thank goodness.
And just the fact that like when he gets killed by his mouth being shut, and then he like speaks, and then it like implodes his own brain, and you see all that, and I'm like, whoa, that was pretty gruesome. Like that's like I wouldn't have thought that would have been a like MCU, let alone Disney feature. So that was like what, and then you got Captain Carter, like that's what if, that was the other thing I forgot. It helps to know if you've seen What If.
It's funny. I thought going into this that I was going to be like, okay, make sure to watch the Doctor Strange What If and maybe the zombie episode because there's a zombie Doctor Strange in the trailer. Didn't know Captain Carter would be the relevant one, not the other two.
Yeah, I exactly. I would say watch up until the Doctor Strange episode, and then you're good, because that's all I had ever seen of What If.
It's not very good.
Yeah, that's what I've just generally heard, that the Doctor Strange is probably the best. But yeah, I was interested. That was, I think, the best scene, in my opinion, out of the entire movie. The parts that kind of get me, and I say zany just for being, crazy, just and not. So at some point there is like when America Chavez, she comes into the universe that we know, and she has along with her a dead Doctor Strange that you see from the opening scene. He's buried in the regular universe that we know, and there is, what is it, dream walking that they do, where you can basically control yourself in another universe by doing some type of yoga pose,
or getting a bunch of paper clips. Oh wait, that's the wrong movie.
Yeah, that's the wrong movie. Yeah, let's not bring that up again. And you can take over control of another you from a different universe. Well, and he does that with a corpse, and so he's just a dead Doctor Strange walking around, being all, Doctor Strange, and he's got like half a face and everything like that. That was a little just crazy, just to be crazy. And I mean, I get it, and I felt like it was a weird thing to make as your like final act, like in the battle. Like it's not him, it's like a dead him, and I was like, okay, if you'd put that maybe it middle part of the movie, and then drawn him back like where his normal self is fighting, then I would have maybe thought a little highly more, just better of it.
What if I can sell you on that?
Well, hold on. Yes,
okay,
you can.
Okay.
But and the last thing I will say about that is that like when he's talking to America Chavez and giving that like final speech of like, you can do it, you can control your powers. He's going like this. He's like really close up on the screen, and he's like, you can do it. You can just believe, And I'm like, it just made me so. I didn't know if anybody else noticed it. He just has a lot of head jerking, like, and it was so distracting to me. I could not get past that. Like, does anybody else not see this? Like, I can't even focus on what he's saying. He's just like, anyway. So, all right, sell me on it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I like that. So when you approach like a big finale, the question is like how to resolve your finale, and Marvel's very hit or miss on how to resolve the finale, but most of the time it's pretty solid, even if it just means the hero gets a power up and just beats the villain that's just the alternate version of themselves or whatever. Whatever happens at the end of the second Thor, I don't even remember. So this was like, you've got three options really. You have a couple options. I'm just gonna throw out some options. You can have Doctor Strange just kind of be better, but the movie's already kind of proven that he shouldn't be. Or you can have him grow as a character, which is tough to do in that situation. You can have America do it, but the movie's already kind of put her in a position where she can't do that right away. Or you can have Wanda do it, which means there's great character development, but not really a conflict resolution. They kind of just say yes to all and make it all work. They have Doctor Strange, who decides to kind of, not that he's a selfish character or anything, but definitely starts to realize the importance of putting needs of others first, and learning from the alternate version of himself almost, and making a sacrifice in the sense that he's doing something that he knows will have serious repercussions, but for the right reason, and choosing that one life is more important, which I really liked, because it's like, instead of showing up for the conflict and just being the hero, he ends up kind of making morally savvy choices to save America, the character.
Yeah, right.
I was like, that sounded weird. And I really like that. And then you have America kind of developing as a character, and she kind of gets the power up, but it doesn't work. And then you still land on Wanda as a character arc, which I think is just the most potent thing. So I like that the film kind of just chooses a little bit of everything. I agree. It's a little distracting. Definitely could hit home more emotionally, but I like that they at least go the character development route of it.
True. Okay. I can see that, and that's fair.
And it's different. It's not just same versus same.
True.
Well, okay, I guess it is Wanda and herself. Pretend same versus same is in, I'm done.
It's
It literally is same versus same, but not in the Marvel sense.
Correct. I mean, yeah, you sold me a little bit more on that, but there are other parts that have bugged me. Like two more glaring moments. Actually, I just thought of a third one. I'll try and tackle them in order that they happen in the movie. The first one is of America's parents, like her mom's getting like sucked into another universe, and the way you see that is they step on like this memory reliver thing, and you see it, like her moms are like, oh hi, and she's like in the garden, she sees a bee or a hornet or a wasp or something, and she's like, a bee, and she, because of the strong emotions, the portal opens, sucks in her mom's get whisked away to another universe, and then she doesn't see him again. I don't know, man.
That's why I agree. I think that's weird, kind of weak, last minute attempt to make her a developed character. That's why my biggest complaint is just pad that more. Do more, put more work into developing America as a character.
Well,
early on,
Here's the thing. It's not so much that, there wasn't enough development for her. I just thought, come on, you could have written that so much better. Oh, a bee scares me. I know she's a kid. Kid's afraid of insects. I don't like insects. I'm just like, have some type of being that is threatening you. Maybe your world is at war and somebody's about to come and kill you, and you get scared, and your mom's just happened to be sucked into the portal then. I mean, come on. I have no experience in storyboard writing. I just came up with that. I just thought that was just a dumb edit. What else was there? I can't remember the second thing, but the third thing, I'll maybe refresh myself. I did not dig the whole musical battle between him and himself.
You didn't like the music battle?
Here's the thing. I liked it for visual purposes. I thought it was really out of place to just have him fight, and then it's like Mozart and Beethoven and just little snippets of all those. I'm sure, like yourself, who has an ear for that kind of stuff, you were on cloud nine. Me, I just thought it was weird.
My favorite moment in the movie.
I know. I had a feeling. I knew I was kind of opening up. As soon
as the other one throws back and it's just that da-da-da, I was like, this is the coolest thing to ever happen.
I don't. Yeah, and it goes to show, the movie is what you want out of it, and if you're like Ryan and you have more of an ear for sound and musical cues and so on, and just overall music, then it may be
Yeah.
for you, especially that moment.
That, by the way, is Alphen's composition, and it's in the score. So I love
Uh,
listening to it in the score too.
I need
Maybe
to
that
go
maybe
back.
I'm biased because I'm like listening to it also, and I'm picturing it in my head, but
No,
not
it
literally also, but you know.
I I don't know. It's
You're right. No, I think I agree with you mean. There's a lot of choices in this where it's like it's creativity for creativity's sake,
yeah,
and the logic behind it doesn't always land.
yeah.
So I love the creativity, but it's like the literal interpretation of like we've never seen him do something like this before. The other one can just it's weird.
I
Um,
and I gotta go back and I think having the mindset, oh yeah, Danny Elfman, yeah, is doing this. Maybe I'll like if I focus on that and really listen for it, then I'll appreciate it more for what it is. I just remembered the second part that I couldn't remember just a second ago. Um, it's a cringy moment, and I get it, and I just you take the movie for the whole. There's a moment where you're in the other universe with the good Wanda and her kids who are made up in the other versions or in our universe. And they're like, Mom, we have a surprise for you. We have a surprise for you. You're really going to like it. And they're on the couch and they start singing to her an ice cream song. Like, we want ice cream. Please get us ice cream. We love you, Mom. I wanted to throw my non existent remote at the screen. I hated that so much. Even if you made it like a happy birthday tune, it would have been so much better. I wanted to vomit because that was so cringy and so cheesy. Everybody and all of us who work there, we were watching it and we were like, "What the heck is going on?"
I think your two problems with the movie are children and Danny Elfman writing music because he also wrote that ice cream song.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, he did it to be like little kids, but
I I hated that moment. I
I think you
hated it.
don't like children.
I love children. I here's the thing. I don't like it's so dumb when you just make this nonsensical like I get it. Kids are doing that. I just I I don't know. Maybe I don't like it. I like kids. But I just I hated that just that improv like little Mom, we love you. Get us some ice cream. We love you. And but you combine that with no, you're really gonna like this. You're really gonna like this. Mom, you're really gonna like the surprise. It's basically a demand for ice cream, but in a sing-songy way. Stop trying to hide what your agenda is, kids. Stop it. And stop trying to
Well,
be
that's
cute.
that's how you do it. You have to sugarcoat it. You have to be like, here's a nice thing wrapped in the gift that is music, and the agenda is super obvious, but they think it's probably really subtle
I
because the gift
I couldn't
itself
get into it.
warrants the reward
Yeah.
that the gift asks.
It was just the cringiest moment that I had to get through, and I hated that more than anything else. I will take everything else gladly. I just take out that 1 minute and just be like, hey Mom, we did something really nice for you. We vacuumed the curtains, we brushed the dog, I don't know, whatever. Can we get some ice cream? Stupid little song. I'm sorry. I
No,
and
it's fine.
uh um that
You're
would
you. I mean, like we're digging into both the things that you don't like and the thing that I like. The things that I like are like digging into things that like aren't like major. We're not even like talking about like plot points. Like neither of us. Like I'm not
yes.
talking about great plot points. You're not talking about terrible. We're just like I love this music cue, and you're like I hate this song that the kids sing. It's so funny. I
I
love
know.
the trippy visual editing. I think I referred to like fade editing, and you're talking about like the bee and the little girl, and I'm like we're just like tearing this movie into like tiny
I know it's like
shreds.
the devil is in the details, and
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. They just have a lot lasting effect on me, and I was like, that's
Yeah.
all I can think about sometimes. I was like the stupid bee scene and this stupid song.
Hey, if you know, little things can do that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, and because we've been in spoilers for a bit, um, there's a few post credit scenes, or before end credit scene. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
There's like three of them technically. There and one of them is just kind of a gag with Bruce Campbell, like, haha, it's the end. And I'm like,
Gosh, I have to talk about that.
okay, go ahead.
I've heard so many people be like, "That's so dumb. Why did we wait 10 minutes for this? It's a waste of our time." And I'm like, literally, 50% of Marvel's end credit scenes are this. So get over it.
It made me think of Ragnarok's.
Yeah, that's a better payoff than like an ant playing drums.
Yes, very much
So
agree.
you know,
The one, excuse me, the one that bothered me is you got what's her name, Charlize Theron coming out, and
yeah,
I think because I've seen this end credit scene probably about 5 times now. It bothers me so much because it feels like, okay, you have a fad, right? You have any, just in general, a fad that people are into, and then people have moved on from that. But then you've got somebody who's kind of late to the party going, hey man, this is so cool. This is so cool, right? Yeah, man, this is whatever we're doing. That's exactly what Charlize Theron in that, not even a whole minute feel like. She's so obviously an out of world character that, like, she's trying hard to be like, Doctor Strange, you caused an incursion. We need to do this. And nothing against Charlize Theron. It's just the character I think that's trying to be introduced. And it's like, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. I don't know why that bothers me so much.
no,
She's just like,
I don't disagree with you.
I,
Yeah, we're at the point of Marvel where I realized this in like the second Guardians and Eternals, where like these post-credit scenes introducing characters we don't know by actors who are famous, who are just joining for probably just a paycheck because they're big actors, and I'm like, it's weird. It makes me glad that they're not really part of the movie,
yeah,
because they like Harry Styles and Eternals. I was like, this is ending this already not good movie on just the worst note for me,
yeah.
where it's like he's here because he's Harry Styles and Marvel, and we don't know this character, so I don't care about anything that's happening in this scene. And it's not going to matter. They're just going to come. So yeah, I don't disagree with you.
I think it also goes in the mentality that obviously the MCU is a huge thing. Regardless, and this movie's being the exception for you. Regardless of the quality of the film, because it's MCU, it's just going to make a lot of money because it's a superhero movie. And I agree with you to an extent. I like superhero movies. I'll see just about any one of them. But that going along with the mentality of what, like, Zac Efron was there's an article saying that he wants to be part of the MCU.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, of course you want to. Everybody wants to be. It's basically an assured paycheck for that week. Like, for a good while, it's like almost guaranteed to make at least $400 million. So like, it will make its money back regardless. Like, until Marvel and Disney start just producing crap after crap after crap after crap, it's going to make money. And anybody who, is an A-lister or even a B-lister is going to want to be a part of it, because regardless. So, but that's going a little farther out from the movie. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's out there obviously, but it's even more out there. So, it's at least worth one watch. I actually think, for different reasons, I need to watch it another, maybe even a third time, maybe even a fourth time. Who knows? Because I have to see it with my wife because she wants to see it, and then I do want to see it in 3D because the technical aspects look like very interesting. And then there's the Elfman score that I want to concentrate on. So there's multiple reasons to get this. And then that leads me to, I probably will own this, especially since I own every Marvel film there is except Eternals, because forget that. I even own Ant-Man 2, and I hated that. So, but anyway, Ryan gives it a what?
Solid 8.
Okay, I was like,
solid 8.
Solid 8. Okay, so
I think I ranked it knowing that my MCU ratings, I love so few films in the MCU, so my attachment to like even Spider-Man movies is kind of waning. This is like top 5 in the MCU. Does it deserve to be? No. But this is everything I wanted from this movie, and I got it.
Yeah, I think
So
yeah, I mean I love the first Doctor Strange so much. Like it was my second favorite of the MCU. There was just kind of nowhere to go but down, in my opinion, I guess. But
maybe
that's
that's
just
it because I don't like the first Doctor Strange that much.
yeah, I
So
don't know. Yeah. But anyway, so any other thoughts on Doctor Strange? All
oh,
right.
I'm sure I could keep going, but I'm not going to.
Yeah,
So
we've taken up
yep.
everybody's time. Okay, well, not I was about to say 9. 8 out of 10 for Ryan, 7 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I mean you're guaranteed to have at least somewhat of a good time,
Yep.
maybe even better. So thank you all for watching. We are on Apple, we are on Spotify, we are on Amazon, we are pretty much anywhere you can get your
Yeah,
podcast.
you can listen to us on that weird planet where we're all made of paint.
Yeah. I mean, you might have paint in your ears, so it might be a little hard to hear us. Maybe you. Oh no, you'll be in the universe where we're all ears, so that's
Or
the
the hot
best.
dog finger. Wait, no, that's the wrong movie again.
Oh, Ryan, I'm gonna hurt you. But anyway, thank you all for watching slash listening. Wait, we didn't even talk about what we'll review next week.
We're
So
doing Moon Knight and Firestarter.
Moon Knight and Firestarter. That seems to be kind of where we're gravitating to. So
Another one of the best scores of the MCU that I'll talk about next week.
I know I don't like I said I don't have an ear for these things, and I even was like, I like
Just
this.
let the credits play once or twice.
I didn't the first time. I did the second time, and I was like, I love this. I love this so much. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do next week. We're gonna do that, and if I get this Firestarter, well, I mean, we'll do it. So you'll probably talk at least about Firestarter. I will hopefully get to it. It's also on Peacock, so
Oh, it is.
yeah, it's gonna be on Peacock and theater. So
Why is
that
Peacock? It's fine.
yeah, so that's gonna happen. So we'll do that for next week. But anyway, thank you all for watching and or listening, and we will catch you on the next episode. Peace.